program Echoes of Grace on your super duper radio station. Streaming live from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. God is good. We're about to do a very special interview with my twin right here. Before then, I'm going to share with you the motivation for the week. Before Jesus left, he said something very crucial and pertinent, which I think we should discuss. Because the words of a dying man or someone who is about to leave are so important. He said, I'm with you always till the end of time. I am with you. That is all that you need. So Moses told God that if you don't go with me, I'm not going. All he needed was the presence of God. In life, you're going to be confronted with so many situations. It's imperative that we realize the fact that somebody greater than anything else is with us. Once you know that God is with you, God is going to be able to overcome you. Apostle Paul says, if God be for us, who can be against us? In life, you're going to go through so many situations. Things are going to change. Things that you did not foresee are going to come your way. It's a matter of you realizing the fact that God is with you. That was Holy House Radio one more time. The program is Echoes of Grace. Mr. Chris Aduteria is the producer of this wonderful program, assisted by Anita Inti. So call a friend to call a friend to call a friend to join us, www.holyhouseradio, your super duper radio station. Mr. Isaac Pinto is the CEO of Holy House Radio, of course, the one controlling the machines for us. With me here is a beautiful, wonderful lady here. And we are going to have an interview today. We are going to talk about problems confronting the youth. I will ask you to introduce yourself, madam.
Hello, my name is Joycelyn. Yeah. I'm 20 years old. I go to Mount Carmel College of Nursing. I am the 7th child out of 8. It's my parents. My nickname is Queenjoy. People call me Queenjoy because I'm queen.
Oh, you're a queen.
Yeah. And that's
wow. Okay. So why are you a queen? Tell me.
I'm a queen because I am the daughter of a king, and it's just, I don't know, it's something that I've been calling myself for quite some time now. Self-confidence is key.
It's key?
It's key.
Wow. So tell me, where were you born?
Ironically enough, I was born in Queens, New York.
So that's why you call yourself?
That's another reason I call myself Queen Joyce, because I was born in Queens, New York. Yeah.
Okay, and what do you know about Queens? Tell me, Queens, New York.
Not really much. I was born there, and I moved after about a year, and then I moved to Columbus. So I don't really know much. I went back to visit one time, but I didn't really get to do much or see much.
Oh, okay. And comparing New York, Queens, New York to Columbus, Ohio, what are the differences?
Queens, New York is definitely more of a people place. I mean, like, there's people walking all the time. There's people everywhere. And then you come to Ohio and it's like not many people on the streets. Everybody's driving their cars. And, yeah.
Like New York, it's like compared to Ohio, Ohio is on the quiet side.
Quiet side, yes.
Like, which one do you prefer?
I mean, I've been in Ohio my whole life, so that's all I've honestly known. But I would like to go to New York more often and visit and just be there, because I feel like when I went the first time, it was great. So
Wow. So you like New York?
I do.
When was the last time you went to New York?
Honestly, I don't remember.
You don't
It
remember?
was I was young, maybe about 10 or 11. I went with my dad, and I went to New York, and I met some people who haven't seen me since I was a little baby, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you've grown." I was like, "Yeah." And then I got $20, so
$20 from
it
where?
seemed like a lot to me. Somebody in New York, my dad's friend,
Give you
he gave me $20, and then I've always wanted to go back since then. It seemed like a lot to me back then, so it is a
Okay.
lot.
Okay. And I see you are part of the music group in the church. How
Yes.
important is music to the church?
Music is extremely important. I've been singing since I was a little girl. I found my voice very young, actually, because my sister had a friend. Her name is Mabel. Shout out to Mabel if you're watching. She used to come over all the time, and she would teach me my sister's songs, and we just sing together. And she brought out the passion in music for me, to be honest. And then I also joined Trumpet of Christ. I don't remember how old I was, but I joined Trumpet of Christ, and I was in there until I graduated high school. And through Trumpet of Christ, I actually that was one of my first times leading a solo. Antonella gave me that opportunity, and I was very nervous and shy, and I didn't want to do it, to be honest, but
You didn't want to do it.
I didn't want to do it because I was so nervous. But she's very encouraging, and she just you can sing, so just sing. So I did it. I was nervous. It wasn't the best, but I was glad that I had the opportunity, and I was glad that I put myself out there because it's opened doors for me in VOG, which I'm in now. And in VOG, I have led worship, and I've done bud songs, and that's something that I would not have been able to do if I didn't have that background and I didn't go through all that.
So you think the leadership is giving the necessary attention to music in the church?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely in PIWC, I feel like music is one of the biggest things. You know, we do all the music stuff, praises, worship, all of that. And it takes up most of the service. So I feel like music is definitely a huge impact on the church. That part wasn't there, it kind of be, I don't know, it kind of be boring, I would say. Not really engaging, slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me go right away to one of my questions. You watched
Okay.
my interview with Michelle, right?
Yes, I did.
What are some of the things you picked from Michelle?
I
By the way,
loved
your
it.
pastor is watching you.
Really?
Hello to Reverend Nana Yeboah. God bless you so much
Hello.
for the good job you are doing. God bless you. Yeah, so yeah. What else?
Michelle's interview, I loved her interview. She was so real and she was so honest and very open. And I feel like that many people wouldn't be so open about, stuff like what she talked about. Many people wouldn't be open to talk about it, but I'm actually very happy that she talked about it because here in the African community, we don't take that. I feel like we don't take that kind of stuff seriously, like serious enough. A lot of kids go through depression and go through a lot of hard times, but we just kind of say get over it, kind of, basically. But I feel like they should shine more light to that, and they should talk about that more in church and help the youth out because being a youth is it's a lot.
It's a lot. Why is it a lot?
It's a lot. Like there's so much pressure from the world, and if you don't have the right community, if you're not on the right path, you're going to get lost, and it's not a good thing.
What do you mean you're going to get lost?
You're gonna get lost. Like there's so much out there in the world, and we're supposed to be on the right path. We're supposed to be in church, reading our Bible, living a pure and holy life. But there's so many distractions in the world.
Not easy.
It's not easy, especially being a youth, because you're curious as a youth. You want to try new things. You want to do all this stuff. But if you try it, you might try it and try it again and try it again, and then get hooked on it, and then
get addicted.
And then it's kind of, over.
So Michelle spoke on some very important stuff.
She spoke on very important things, and I'm glad she did.
And her honesty.
Her honesty, I loved it. She was so real. And, a lot of people would not be that open. Like, I don't know if I could be that open and talk about all of my, problems and stuff. But I'm glad that she did because many people needed to hear it.
So why won't you be open about all the stuff you go through? Why wouldn't you be open? You think people are going to judge you?
Yes, I mean,
Huh?
there's people judging everywhere you go, and
Okay.
I mean, sometimes what you feel like, well, what I feel like is sometimes what I have to say might not be as important, or people won't listen, or people can't help me in the way that I want to be helped. But so yeah, sometimes I keep things in, but honestly, I don't keep things in. Actually, I'm a person who actually vents a lot, and I vent to my sister a lot because she can't, go tell anybody, and she can't. She's family, so she can't really turn her back on me. So I vent to my sister a lot.
Michelle.
Michelle, my younger sister, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me read something you wrote.
Okay.
I feel like the youth should definitely be more open with their parents, but it's a two-way street. The parents need to be more open with their kids as well. You talked about if you don't have that open relationship with your parents, it's hard to talk to your parents about certain struggles you are facing because either you get in trouble for even discuss those struggles or you feel like they can't help because they don't even talk about their struggles. So, why do you think parents should open up to you with their struggles?
The question isn't if youth needs to open up to their parents. The question is, should parents open up to their youth? And parents definitely should open up to their youth because if you're not open with me, how do you expect me to be able to come to you and be able to talk to you? I think that parents should talk about their own personal struggles, what they've been through, so it's more relatable. For me, I don't really like when I ask my parents questions and then they say, oh, you can't do this, and they don't give me an explanation. Because if you don't give me an explanation, I mean, I want to do it. I need something to go off of.
You need a good reason.
I need a good reason. If I want to go somewhere, if I want to do something, you tell me no, like, that's not going to sit well with me. So, yeah, parents definitely need to be more open with their children, with their youth, because...
So would you agree with me that about 90% of the youth are just pretending?
They're just pretending.
So at this point,
what
are some of the struggles that you know that the youth are going through, for which they cannot share?
Which they can't share. One big thing is relationships. I know that a lot of youth are in relationships, or they want to be in relationships, or
they are out of relationships.
They've
gone in, come
out. relationships. Like you, as an African child, personally for me, as an African child, I cannot tell. Let me rephrase that. Okay, my dad and my mom are different, you know, because with my mom, I feel like, I mean, from a young age, she's kind of like talked about, sex and relationships, she's said things here and there. But my dad, I don't think I've ever spoken to him about relationships or any of that. And at this point in my life, I wouldn't want to because, I mean, it's too late. Like, this whole entire time, we haven't talked about it. So if you bring it up now...
Why do you think it's too late?
It's just going to be too awkward, and I wouldn't... It'd be way too awkward for me. I wouldn't be able to answer any questions. I wouldn't really be able to talk to him. So another thing, if you really want to be open with your youth, I feel like you should talk to them while they're still young, because once they hit like a certain point...
They might have made mistakes already.
They might have made mistakes already. They might not want to talk about it. They won't come to you. But if you start early, it gives them that, open door for them to come to you and talk to you and just be real with you.
So how open are you with your mom? To some extent.
To some extent. I mean, I think I'm pretty open with my mom. Like, she's an open person. She's told me about, like, some of her mistakes, and she's talked to me about this since I was kind of young, so I can go to her, and I actually talked to her recently about, like, relationships and stuff, and she's very open. She gives me, like, real...
She doesn't judge you.
She doesn't judge me. She gives me real, like, information and things that I think, can help me. She's, pretty real. I mean, she's talked to me about things that she's been through, and don't do this and don't do that. She doesn't just tell me don't do this, but she gives me a reason.
Good reasons.
Yeah.
And she's not shy to talk about it.
She's not shy to talk about it.
And you are also able to tell her everything. Most things.
Most things.
Okay, so the rest that you are keeping, why are you keeping the other ones that you are not?
I don't know. I feel like it's not really necessary to talk about.
You don't want her to know you too much.
That's a tough question. I don't want her to know me too much. I don't know if I would say that, but I mean, some things I'm just not comfortable talking about because we haven't talked about it before, or it's
You just want to keep certain things.
yeah.
There should be a little bit of privacy.
Yeah. I don't think anybody should know everything
Everything
about
about
you.
everybody.
No,
Okay,
I
okay.
don't think
For
so.
those who just joined us, this is your champion station, your super duper radio station, Holy Hills. And tonight we have a special guest, a woman of God, Jocelyn Akomia, right here. And we are talking about the youth and the kind of things that they get influenced by, the things the problems that they are confronted with, and how we can help tackle it. You can call us 614-577-1434. And right. So, what can the church do? The church also has a big role to play when it comes to the things that the youth go through. What do you think the church should do to help?
Um, well, in terms of getting the youth more involved, in my personal opinion, I feel like the church should have more programs set up for the youth, by the youth, just, yeah, for the youth, because I feel like the more time that you're in the church and the more time you're busy with church activities, the less time you're out in the world. And I say that because like VOG takes up a lot of my time. Well, not too much, but it takes up a fair amount of my time. Like on Saturdays, everything happens on Saturdays. There's parties. There's like Saturdays are busy, but I have that like reserved time for VOG that I go to every Saturday. So the more active you are in church, I feel like the less time you have to do things outside of church, like worldly stuff, I guess.
Okay, so the church should.
Put in more activities. Like I love like discussions. You know, I love talking to people and getting their point of views. And I feel like if we have like discussions just for the youth, you know, that'd be great. Or like Bible trivia, something that the youth want to do, and take the youth's opinion as well, and see what they actually want to do, something that they would actually go to, and have it be continuously, like not, you know, January and then October and then November.
Okay.
But have it be
Consistent.
consistent. Yeah.
Okay, so how do you see the youth ministry as it is now? We used to have a very vibrant youth. I remember when I was a youth leader, we used to do so many things. It was fun, 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 fun. But now I don't really know what goes on. How do you see the youth ministry as it is now?
The youth, I honestly don't think that we're that much involved as we should or could be. And I say this because I feel like a lot of the youth are kind of leaving the church, or they don't want to be in church, or they show up late, or, you know, stuff like that. They're not really active. Because, I mean, what exactly can we do? You know, there's choirs, there's God's Army, but what exactly, like, what can the male youth do? You know, God's Army, it's for everybody, but it's filled with females. And then VOG is like singers. Like, what else can we do, you know? So I feel like if they find something that they enjoy in the church, they stick with it.
Okay. Now, you talked a little bit about your mom. Can you talk a little bit about your dad?
Sure. My dad, I love my dad, but I don't think I can talk to him about, you know, some deep stuff, because
you can't talk to him about sex.
I don't know. No.
You can't ask him.
No.
You can't ask him any question at all.
I don't think so.
Let
me tell you a story.
Okay.
So one time, I was actually really young. You know, I think I was kind of a bad kid, kind of, you know. I got myself into a situation where I did something, you know, not, you know, the best, not good, I guess. Stuff. Mm-hmm. But I did something bad. Okay, I kissed a little boy, basically. My dad knows about it, so at this point, you know, so I kissed the boy, and then my brothers, they basically, you know, kind of blackmailed me to make me do things for them, because I was so scared to tell my dad. I didn't want him to know. So eventually, one day my brother was like, "If you don't get off the computer, I'm going to go tell Dad." And I was like, "You know what? I don't care. Go tell him." Knowing deep down that I actually really cared. So my brother actually went to go tell my dad. And then my dad came downstairs and he asked me, and I didn't lie. I was like, "You know what? Let me just say what I had to say." And then I got in trouble for it. But I feel like, what I did wasn't, you know, it wasn't right, obviously, and it wasn't good, especially for being a little kid my age. But I feel like that could have definitely been a teaching moment, and it could have been a moment where if he, like, just sat down and talked to me about it, or was, like, open with me about it, even though I was young, you know, if he just talked about it with me, I feel like that was just, like, that could be a doorway for conversation, like,
that
later on in the future.
An opportunity, yep.
Yeah. Another thing, I went to, this was actually around senior year, and I was going to prom, and I told my dad I was going to tell this story, so... And I was going to prom, and my friends came to pick me up. And in the car, there was two guys in the car, and my friend was a girl, and we're all just friends, just friends. We're all friends. So I was gonna go buy some hair, and I told my dad, I was like, "Oh, I'm about to go buy some hair with my friends, and I'll be right back." I didn't tell him it was a boy or girl because I know my dad would trip. So I was like, "I'm just going to go buy some hair with my friends," and he's like, "Okay." And then my dad was leaving to go somewhere actually, and then he saw my friends pull up, and he saw the guys in the car, and then he stopped me. He was like, "Come here," and then I came. And he was like, "Are those your friends over there?" I was like, "Yeah," and then he was like, "You're not going." I was like, "Wait, what? I'm not going." I was like, "I'm just gonna go buy some hair." He's like, "No, go home." And I was like, "Okay," and I didn't want to argue with him because I felt like I couldn't win with that situation. So I was like, you know what? Okay. So I went home and then I went to go to my mom. I was like, you know what that just did? Like, he just told me I couldn't go and blah, blah, blah. I told her the whole story. And then she's like, why would he do that? Like, that's not, that's kind of weird. Because, it was weird. I mean, I was going somewhere with my friends and then he just said I can't go. Oh, he also said, you can't take guys as friends. And I was like, wait, I can't take guys as, I was 17 years old, about to turn 18, about to graduate high school. And he's like, you can't take guys as friends. So I was like, I can't take guys as friends. So I was like, okay. So I came home, and then my dad he actually talked to me about it. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. He came home, and then I basically explained it to him. He's like, oh, if you just explained to me, blah, 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 I could have let you could have, it wouldn't have been a problem. And I looked at him like, you didn't even give me time to explain. You just told me to go home. So, yeah.
But your mom is okay.
My mom she's okay. Like, and I also feel like if you and your parents have that relationship where you guys are open with each other, that also creates room for trust. Like, your parents will trust you and you will trust your parents. So open relationship is key. Parents, you should be open with your kids from a very young age.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So why do you think it's okay for guys, ladies, young ladies to have guys
male
as friends?
Yeah. They're humans. We're all humans. Every day of my life,
don't you think it's going to lead to temptation?
No, it's not always going to lead to temptation. Like, I mean, if you have romantic feelings for somebody, yes, that could lead to temptation. But I can't have a friend. Like,
no, but romantic feeling might come later as you are friends and you are going to the person. And then as you relate to someone, don't you know friendship grows or affection grows?
Yeah.
So when that tells you don't have male as a friend,
friends.
Why don't you just accept it?
No, I don't think I can accept that because every day in my life I see, there's male and females everywhere. I go to school, there's male and females everywhere. You work with male and females, they're everywhere. So I don't feel like gender should really put a line between friendship, Obviously, God created a man and a female for a reason. I mean, why else would there be a man and a female, I mean, obviously,
and you don't think it's going to lead to temptation. That's where, because it's most likely, as you guys relate, normally you just go into the whole thing innocently. You think that, I just like this guy. Okay. And then he will do stuff for you. He will buy you stuff. He will care about you. And then before you realize it, you are falling for the person.
Okay. I think that, you kind of tripped me up with that question. Because honestly, I feel like guys and girls can be friends. There's nothing wrong with that. But I guess when temptation comes in, how do you really stop that? I don't know. Just set up boundaries for yourself, I guess. Just know your limits. Talk about it. Don't go into situations blindly. Like,
so you must
know that this can happen.
Okay.
But I don't think that's always going to happen, like, with every friend, So I feel like guys and girls can be friends.
Okay. So who is your best friend?
Jesus. Jesus is my best friend.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Apart from Jesus, who again is your best friend?
My best friend.
Michelle.
Michelle is I would say Michelle's my best friend because I tell her everything, and I mean she's my sister, but she's also somebody I tell like all my stuff to, all my problems, everything.
Is it hard having immigrant parents and living in America where you are told something different and your parents also have a different perspective? Yes. How hard is it?
It's hard because they're coming from a completely different cultural understanding of things. They're coming from a completely different background than what I myself have grown up in America. In America, I've seen all these different things, and school has been my influence. In schools, there are different cultures, different people, like, and it influences you, And then I feel like growing up in Ghana, I don't know, I've never been to Ghana, but
Never
Growing up
been to
in,
Ghana.
I've never been to Ghana, but
Okay.
I mean, I feel like in Ghana you're surrounded with Ghanaians, the same kind of
Thinking and everything.
thinking, the same kind of lifestyles, I guess. So they have their own ideas on what's right and wrong, and I have my own ideas of
And
what's
so,
right
how are
and
you
wrong.
able to cope with it? Because obviously, there are things that they will say to you which will not really link up
Resonate.
with, yeah, resonate with the kind of experiences you have. So, how do you go about it?
Honestly, when my parents tell me to do these things, I just do it. But sometimes I feel like I have to talk to them. I have to tell them, like, I have to explain where I'm coming from. And a lot of parents are quick to, like, not listen. They're quick to just say what they have to say and then it's over. They don't really give us an opportunity to speak. And I mean, it's happened to me sometimes, a lot of times. But I feel like that's where the whole open conversation comes in to play once again. When you're open with your parents, there's you can talk, they can talk, and then we find like middle ground.
Middle ground. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so now, your parent coming from Ghana, you being born here, and all those things. What advice? Speaking Tree at this point, what advice would you give
You're
to
going to
parents?
embarrass me.
At this point, Katri, what
Okay.
advice would you give to parents
Okay,
who have
parents.
teenagers? And Katri,
Oh Lord, you're going to embarrass me. I don't even know how to start.
uh, and then I also catch your parents about
Parents.
because
Muntu mubuase ene nkasa.
and Kasa about the,
Listen to what we have to say. Sorry, I can't speak all that tree. Listen to what
Okay.
you have to say. Don't just, and when you speak, don't just say things and let it be. Let us have an opportunity to say what we have to say. And then it won't be in a form of talking back at all. Just give us an opportunity to express our feelings as well and to say what we have to say. And then maybe we can find middle ground.
Okay. What do you plan to do in future? What profession or?
I am in the nursing career, pediatric endocrinologist. But I also do have a passion for, therapy and stuff. Talking to people and encouraging people. So somehow I want to maybe merge that. I don't know yet, but
Is it
I'll
okay
merge that.
for parents to choose the profession?
No.
So did you choose
No.
nursing yourself?
Yes, I did. Well, actually, my parents definitely had a big influence on that. This is another thing that parents should definitely think about.
Okay.
Let your kid think on their own, and as far as career goes. I feel like sometimes parents brainwash their kids. They tell them, "Oh, you're going to school. You need to be a doctor. You need to be a doctor. You need to be a doctor." And then your kids start thinking, "Okay, I need to be a doctor. I need to be a doctor. I need to be a doctor." And they start thinking that that's what they're supposed to do. But you need to go to God and ask God, "What is my purpose here on this earth? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to accomplish?" And God will tell you what He needs you to accomplish. So if you're forcing doctor, doctor, doctor down your throat, down your kid's throat, if that's not for them, they're not going to be happy. They're going to fail at it. Like, it's not, everybody loses. So just give your kid some time to think about what they want to do, talk to God about what they want to do, because we all have a purpose on this earth. We are all here to accomplish something that God has set for us. And I feel like parents should not tell their kids what they need to be.
Is that what you did when you were choosing nursing? Did you?
When I was choosing nursing, okay, so my parents, growing up, my parents were like, oh, they wanted me to be in the medical field. And I was like, okay, I thought about it. I was like, okay, medical field, I mean, that may be for me. So they started saying nursing, nursing, nursing. I'm like, okay, maybe I do want to do nursing. So I got into it, and I'm like, okay, I love helping people, and I love, bringing people out of, troubled areas and hard times. And I like being that source of encouragement for people, because I feel like once I encourage people and they actually get something from it, it makes me happy. Like, it satisfies me. So I feel like nursing was one way to do it, but I also definitely found a passion in, like, psychology and, like, therapy and just helping people with, like, in their mental states and their mental states and their what's the other word, mental states, and emotionally drained, like, especially with the youth and stuff. Like, we come back to the youth, a lot of the youth are depressed or suicidal or going through things that they feel like nobody can really help them. But I mean, it'd be great if I could help somebody like that. That's something that I also want to do. So
I'm going to ask you a hard question.
okay.
Are you ready?
I don't know.
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
A very hard question.
Okay.
Why are you a Christian?
Why am I a Christian?
Are you a Christian because your parents are, because your dad is an elder?
Actually, no. I grew up in a Christian household, obviously, and I. This is actually a very easy question for me.
Okay.
Why am I a Christian? Because I've firsthand experienced God like on my own. Before I actually experienced God for the first time in my life in 2016, and before that I was just going to church to go to church, I think, and I was just, I mean, I did love the Lord and everything, but I was just going to go. Like my parents were going, I was going, but it wasn't until I had my own personal experience with God was when I realized that, oh wow, God is legit real, and he's here, and
what kind of experience was that?
It's a long story.
Make it short.
It's a long story. Okay.
Give me a summary.
Basically, 2016 was like the year I experienced God the most.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from the beginning was when I first got baptized, and then
You mean water baptism?
Water baptism. It was when I got water baptized, and then I spoke in tongues that year for the first time.
Wow.
And then it was crazy. Like it's an amazing experience, and just I've experienced God like. It's a long story.
It's a long story.
Yeah, it's a long story.
You were going through something and God intervened.
I wasn't necessarily going through something. Well, yeah, I mean, it was around the time I was trying to choose a school for college, and God like spoke, like He came through for me, and definitely took me out of situations, and yeah.
Okay, so now you know God is real.
I know He's real. Yeah.
And that is why you're a Christian.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm a Christian because I've had my own personal experience with God.
How do you know about other religions? Have you tried knowing what other people believe?
Yeah, I actually took a class. I had to take the class in school about other religion, and honestly, none of them like really sat well with me. Like, I was like, I try to put it together. Like, how do people like not believe in Jesus? Because all of these other religions, for me personally, I was looking at it. I was like, wow, this is interesting. How do you believe in like this? How do you believe in so many gods that are just so different and do so many different things all at once? And I don't know, it was a lot. And I was like, I don't know.
And none of
it was
them
just a lot.
Like,
none of them sat well with me. I was like, it wasn't real to me. It wasn't real. It just didn't seem right. I felt like it was people putting stories together with a lot of the religions that I learned about. But
do you think, give me an honest answer, do you think the church is providing, we are giving the youth what they really need? I know most of the youth are going through a whole lot of stuff. There are so many challenges the youth are being confronted. Do you think we as a church leadership, we are giving them what they really need? And what do you think we should do? This would be a final question.
Is the church giving the youth what they really need?
Or we can do better.
There's always room for growth.
Okay.
There's always room for growth. I think that the church can definitely do better in helping the youth because, like I said before, there's a lot of youth going through so much and nobody really notices it. Nobody notices it. And the youth, I mean, I feel like it's going to be really hard for them to open up about it because they don't think that people will understand or they think that they'll be judged or talked about. But I think that the church can do a lot, but what can the church really do? I don't have an answer to.
You think we should make the counseling department stronger?
Actually, yes. Counseling department.
People can go in and ask questions. Okay. I mean, I've enjoyed having an interview with you. Who are the people you would like to appreciate before we sign?
Okay, appreciations. I appreciate the Lord.
Okay.
I appreciate my parents. Shout out to my parents. Shout out to Mabel, my first inspiration with music. Shout out to Antuna for helping me, giving me that solo. And shout out to all the listeners. Thanks for listening and watching. And shout out to you. Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, thank you. People, this has been Echoes of Grace. Today I had with me Jocelyn. I call her Joy because she always has joy and her name too is Joy. Yeah, and today we've had a very nice interview and I know many people have learned a lot. Parents, you have had yours and the youth. She also had a very good advice for you And today, Michelle Akomia was also here to offer moral support. It will be her turn very soon. The program is Echoes of Grace. My name is Elder Besonko Mary Somua. Mr. Zepinto is the one controlling the machine for us. The next program is going to be Pentecost Hour, and it's going to be wonderful. Our brother Ken Amwa is here. It's going to be a super duper program. Once again, thank you very much for joining us. Next week, we are going to have another interview. God bless, and we are out like that.